All right. Truck maintenance. American Locomotive Company. All locomotives. American Locomotive Company product. Shenandoah 5, New York. Contents. The 2250 horsepower passenger A6 A and B unit, six wheel, two motor truck. Page 3. 1,016 and 1,600 horsepower road switcher, 1,600 horsepower freight passengers, A and B units, four wheel, two motor truck. 16 horsepower road switcher, 16 horsepower freight passenger A and B units, six wheel, two motor trucks, modification, 16 horsepower road switcher, six wheel, three motor truck, page 25, 2,250 horsepower road switcher, six wheel, three motor truck, 660 horsepower, 800 horsepower, 900 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower switchers, four wheels, two motor truck. All right, this shows you the passenger six wheel, two motor truck, the road switcher six wheel, three motor truck, your freight passenger four wheel, two motor truck, and switcher wheel four wheel, two motor truck. All right, trucks. 2,250 horsepower passenger A and B unit six wheel motor truck. The truck is fully equalized six wheel, two motor swinging baluster swivel type. The swinging baluster provides the 2.25 inch lateral movement for each side of the center. In addition, with center swivel bearing carrying the cab weight, there are four friction side bearings faced with wear plates, case integral with the bolsters to ensure ability. The truck spring system consists of four double elliptic springs carrying bolstered springs in these turn resisting on cast steel spring planks suspended from the truck frame from the swing hangers. In addition, with bolus springs, the truck springs system indicates an 8 twin coil spring nest, which transfers load through the equalizer to the axle assemble. Axle journals boxes are mounted in the pedestal cast integral with the truck frame. Journal boxes are Timken and SKF roller bearing type, taking lateral thrusting directly through the bearings. There is a total lateral per axle of the box and pedestals amounting at 12/32 of an inch from the end assembly and 21/32 from the center assembly. The brakes are class type double shoe powered four-cylinder brake per truck. Cylinder brackets are as well as hangers. Equalized brackets are cast integral with the truck frame, but automatic manually operated with slack adjustment is provided with the order to compensate the brake shoe wheel wear. Provisions are made to the application of the handbrake chain. Removal of the axle wheel box assembly with the motors. To remove the axle wheel box assembly from the truck is under locomotive. A double table is necessary to assume, but the equipment is in single table type, large enough to handle the complete truck. Thus, the use of such a table requires the locomotive to be supported at jacking pads. Using this equipment when the table is lowered from the single axle wheel box assembly, the truck remains suspended on safety hooks. The removal procedures will be as follows. Before relieving the swivel bar with the cab weight, removing the top brake with the pull rods over the baluster to prevent damage to them, upward movement of the baluster. Also advisable to place the steel blocks 6 inches long and 3 inches by 3 inches thick by 3 inches wide, with a half-inch radius at the bottom edge of the width between the legs and the baluster safety strap to reduce the distance between them. From the transom bottom strap to prevent bending of the safety straps when they are carrying them, carry the frame weight. 2. Locate the body supports under locomotive jacking pads. 3. Remove the pedestal caps and tie bars under the assembly to be removed. 4. Remove the sander pipes in the assembly. 5. Disconnect the motor leads. 6. Disconnect any journal box attachments such as speed recorder, speed odometer, transmission generators, etc. If any of the driving assembly is dropped with the removal of the bottom of the brake pull rod, jack motor nose, and remove suspension assembly, see item 6 assembly of the trucks. 9. Lower the motor nose until the motor safety plugs rest on the truck frame brackets. Allow drop table to set slowly, keeping the motor nose on the jacks so that the safety lugs will pass past the frame lugs. Remove the motor air duct from the motor before assembling. The completely dropped in the top plate of the device will not pass from the brake fulcrum bracket. 11. Continue to lower assembly until free from the truck. Reinstallation of the axle and wheel and box assembly. The operation should be performed in practically the reverse sequence of the removal. The axle assembly resulting from the drop tape of the motor correctly positioned and tilted at the nose so that the lugs will pass with the frame raised the assembly until the safety lugs can again rest on the top of the frame lugs. As soon as clearance condition permits, bolt air duct boot to the top of the motor. 2. Continue to raise the assembly in the normal position in the pedestal and apply the caps. 3. Apply the motor nose suspension spring assembly. See item 10, reassembly of the truck. 4. Reapply the bottom brake pull rods. 5. Reconnect the motor lead. 6. Reapply the sander pipes and adjusting. 7. Reconnect the journal box attachments. 8. Adjusting brakes. 9. Check the journal box lubrications. Alright, removing the equalizer springs from the truck's under locomotive. When lifting and rigging overhead crane, remove the pedestal cap from the end of the pedestal. Move both sides of the truck nearest to the spring to be removed. Remove the top of the brake pull rod over the bolster. Disconnect the bottom brake pull rods at the end of the opposite slack adjuster. Use a block between the bolster, safety straps, and frame transoms of the truck being lifted. See the item. Remove the axle and wheel and box assembly. All right. E. Will the with the sling of the crane attached to the locomotive lifting lugs, raise the cab until the safety hooks between the cab and the trucks are engaged. See the removal of the truck block instructions. Continue lifting until the weight of it is removed from the springs that they are free from the frame of the pockets. G. Remove the springs. Note that lifting one end of the locomotive excessively high while the truck's swivel bottom at the other end of the still engaged is not recommended. To remove the coil springs, however, only an approximate lift of 7.5 inches is required. It will be satisfactory to lift the cab at one end and the distance to remove the spring from the truck at the same end. Alright, 2. With the jacks. Remove the pedestal cap at the top brake with the pull rod as in 1A and 1B above. Disconnect the bottom brake pull rod as in 1C above. Alright, 2. With jacks. With jacks, B. Inserting block bolster safety straps as in 1D above. C. With jacks under lifting lugs near the truck from which the springs are to be removed. The locomotive approximately 7.5 inches. And D. Remove the springs. 3. With the drop table and the body support, follow the same procedures as above. Example, with the cab supported with the body support under lifting lugs, lower the axle wheel assembly on the drop table in sufficient amount to release the springs, allow the removal. Removing elliptic springs from the truck under locomotive. When lifting and the rigging overhead the crane, clamp and tie the elliptical springs to prevent them from going free when unloaded. Remove the bolster safety strap top brake with a pull rod from the truck from which the spring is being removed. Remove the spring plank safety strap nearest the spring being removed. With a sling from crane attached from the locomotive lifting lugs, removal of the truck from blocking instructions nearest the truck from the spring are being removed, lifting the locomotive thereby the bolsters just enough to free the springs in the pockets. Jack up the spring plank at the nearest spring being removed and remove the spring hanger, seat, and liner. F. Lower the plank end to the hanger. And G. Lift the spring out over the equalizer. Jack up the truck frame necessary to equalize the clearance. 2. With the jacks, clamp the spring proceeded as the lifting of the rigging above the jacks are placed under the locomotive lifting lugs. 3. With the drop table and the body support, clamp and tie the elliptical springs. B. Remove the bolster, safety springs, and top brake pull rods from the truck from which the springs is being removed. Alright, C. With the body supports located under the lifting nearest to the truck with the springs being removed with the truck of the frame and the wheel assembly under the lip. The springs are free with the removed over of the equalizer jacking up the frame is necessary to do the extra strings. Removal of springs, reverse removal procedure, removal of the truck. Before completing, a truck can be removed from beneath the locomotive, and it is necessary to relieve the truck of the trucks of the cab weight. This requires either the crane or hoist or jack to lift the locomotive body and stationary body support used in conjunction with the drop table installation. The jack and lifting diagram shown in Figure 40 shows the location at which the units should be lifted and supported and the approximate loads involved. The following precautions should be observed. Wood blocking should be used between the chassis and support points of the jacking pads and lifting device. The lift should be uniform on both sides and cab, preventing the unnecessary strain on the cab structure. The cab should be not lifted and accessibly more than one end and the other until the body swivel casting have been disengaged from the truck swivel bolts and center plate. Before removing the truck and by any method, the safety hook of one on each side of the center plate bowl must be swung and clear. The hook itself is held in place by 2 pins. Removal of the larger the hook will then be the swing clear of the smaller pin, yet remain attached to the cab. Disconnect the air braking pipes. handbrake chain, standard traction motor leads, and any truck box attachment. If the truck is not attached to be dismantled, if the lift required can be reduced by if the blocking is inserted between the bottom of the journal box and the pedestal tie bars so that they are equalizing springs cannot raise the truck frame. If the truck is to be dismantled, clamped, or tie elliptical springs to prevent them from going free unloaded. Regardless of whether to remove what's that? Regardless of whether the elliptical springs are retained or not, they advise to remove the top brake of the pull rods crossing over the baluster in order to prevent them from becoming bent by the rise of the baluster while the cab weight is removed from it. A truck then may then be removed by any one of the three different procedures: by a drop table, which requires the use of the stationary body support or lifting rig with overhead crane; by jacking and lifting a cab sufficient amount to disengage the swivel castings and to provide the clearing above the truck so that they may be moved laterally beneath the locomotive using a turntable transfer table. The using of the jacks, removing the front truck on A unit and the side ladder below the operating cab door must be removed. Removing the ladder also reduces the necessary for the truck removal. By jacking and lifting an item above the sufficient amount of the removal of the truck's longitude along the track, the front of the truck of the A unit will necessarily lift the cab far enough to permit the truck to pass under the pilot. For the rear of the truck, rear truck of the A unit on both the front and the rear of the trucks of the B unit is only necessary to lift the cab far enough for the trucks to pass under the draw casting. Reference should be made to the jacking and lifting diagrams in Figure 40 for the details of lift loads involved. In addition, with the 4 regular lifting jacking pads located on each side of the cab over each of the truck, there are additional pads on A unit located on the side sills ahead of the front truck behind the removal of the section of the pilot skirt. This unit may also be raised by jacking under the rear corners of A and the front of the rear corners of B after the steps have been removed. Alright, disassembly of the truck. Remove all the pedestal bars. Remove the safety straps from the bottom of the baluster. Remove the traction motor air ducts from the top of the motor. Lift out the baluster, elliptical springs, and plank. Remove the brake slack adjuster and put bottom pull rods and brake head tie bars. Move all the motor nose and suspension spring nests as follows. See Figure 1. Jack lift a motor nose sufficiently to compress the nest at approximately 1/2 inch. Remove the cutters and tighten the nut springs and holder bolts using a split washer to take up the space between the nuts and the spring holders. Lower the motors so that the nose lugs are free of spring nests. Remove the pin keepers and drop vertical pins. Slide the spring nest out sideways. Alright, 7. Again, raise the motor nose to provide clearance preparatory to removing the truck frame. Raise the nose sufficiently amount that the truck frame lugs when clearly motor safety plugs when the frame is lifted up and off the axle, wheel, and box assembly. With the crane, raise the truck frame with equalizer ride on the wall with the pedestal jaws and continue to raise the frame until the coil springs are free of pockets and remove the springs. Alright, lift truck frame equalizer completely with clear axle wheel box assembly and have the lifting equalizer set on the seats on the journal boxes. Block journal boxes to prevent rotation. Alright, remove the equalizer from the truck frame. Set the truck frame and equalizer assembly blocking as to move the equalizer weight of the filler blocks with the center pedestal. Remove the center pedestal wear plates. Remove the center pedestal leg filler blocks. This operation requires drilling out of the rivet heads and driving out the rivets. Lifting up the frame of the equalizer, drop the center of the clear of the center pedestal, then may be withdraw any from the end-to-end pedestal. Alright, if the truck is to be disassembled over a pit, it's possible to remove the motors without disturbing the rest of the truck as follows. Remove the suspension spring nest and item 6 proceeding. Remove the gear of the case and dust guard. Lift the motor nose using a lift lugs until the cap and the suspension bearing as at bottom. D. Unbolt and cap. Remove the caution. Exercise great care of the handling suspension bearings. The bearings are in 2 halves. 1/2 of the bearing removed with the cap. The other half removed after the cap is dropped. If not, remove the restrainer in and half of the bearing with lifting of the motor from the axle so that it will not drop and injure the personnel. Lift motor clear of the axle. Alright, Figure 1 shows the traction motor nose support with the vertical pin, spring holder, and spring holder bolt and pin keeper. Alright, your inspection and maintenance. The following items should be inspected and compared with the figure 2 for the clearance and wear limits. Vertical, horizontal steel liners in both the body and the truck swivel casting. Pedestal wearing and faces and corresponding faces on the journal housing. Side bearing wear plates, truck bolster wear plates, both frame and bolster. Swinging hanger pins and bushing, brake hangers, restraint brake wear plates. See also foundation brakes. Brake hanger, equalizer pins, bushing. See also foundation brakes. 2. When applying new liners, be sure that all the edges are rounded where they contact other surfaces. For the roller bearings, refer to the manufacturer instruction. Check the lubrication, swivel, bowl, and axle bearings. Tighten all pipe connection, checking the pipe. Inspect motor nose spring holder to the wear. If necessary, replace the wear plate. When the trucks are dismantled, spring removed. Check the liners and spring pockets if badly worn and replace. Our figure 2 shows the clearance and wear limits, the original minimum and operational minimum. This is the front and back boxes of original. And radial clearance of the pin bushing, replacing the pin in the bushing view while increasing the radial clearance to 1/16 of an inch. These are this is your clearance wear limits. The boxes original, center box is original. Overbox wear plates between pedestal and liners. Alright, 8. Check the wheel wear for the foundation brake equipment. If the parts of the excessive wear, they should be replaced. See the foundation brakes. For traction motor maintenance, refer to the maintenance instruction booklet, MI 2001 traction motor maintenance. Keep sliding shoes at the end of the equalizer thoroughly lubricated by applying the grease with the All-Might fitting provided. Alright, wheels. While turning and replacing, the Interstate Commerce Commission rule requires that the diameter of the wheels on the same axle shall not vary more than 3 3/32 of an inch of the equivalent of approximately 2.5 tapes. As other further recommendation, the wheels should not continue to serve with the diameter in the same truck that varies more than 1/2 an inch of the 12 1/2 tapes under the same locomotive until they are vary more than 1 inch or 25 tapes. When turning the replacing with the new wheels, it is our recommendation that the wheels should not vary more than half a tape on the same axle, 2 tapes on the same truck, and 14 tapes on in the same locomotive. Alright, wheels should be checked periodically for the wear in accordance with the Interstate Commerce Commission regulations. Excessive wear is found and checked to determine if the brake shoes are free and not binding on the flange of the wheel tread, if the brake hangers and levers are hangers true and are not causing the misalignment of the shoe on the wheel tread, if the wear plate of the hanger and levers and the frame brackets are proper clearance for the C foundation brakes and inspection maintenance. D, inside the pipes of the other parts of the tree and not following the brake rigging and preventing the normal operation. If the axle lateral is normal and not excessive by reason for the worn pedestal liners. Excessive variation in wheel diameters, see item 1 above. 3, when applying new shoes, they must have hang true in the heads. Nuts on the brake head pins should be adjusted. The vibrational shock will not cause the shoe to drag on the wheel, but still permit the face of the shoe to conform to the wheel as wear progresses. See also foundation brakes. For wheel mounting, refer to Figure 3. Figure 3 shows the wheel axle body assembly. Your journal boxing over here with the journal. The bearings, your wheel, and your between tires, 5 1/2, 5 53 1/4 between the flanges. Wheel thick onlyness, fixed 6-wheel passenger truck only 3 1/27 thousandths of an inch to 3,125 thousandths minimum of an inch. Alright, your axle gears. The mounting of the axle gear is based on interference with regardless of the tonnage pressure of the recommended interference that fits as follows. The bore of the axle gear is 9.99 1/1000ths plus or 1/1000ths or minus 0 thousandths. Diameter of axle gear fit 10 plus of 1/1000ths or minus thousandths of an inch. For complete axle gear instruction maintenance instruction booklet, MI 2001 traction motor maintenance inspection. Alright, motor suspension bearings. Diameter axle suspension bearing is new with the 9.00 thousandths to 2,000 thousandths of an inch. And axle wears it may be turned to the following 3 successive diameters. Undersized replacement bearings are obtained. 8,938 thousandths plus or minus 2 thousandths of an inch. 8.875 thousandths of an inch plus or minus 2 thousandths of an inch. 8.813 thousandths of an inch plus or minus 2 thousandths of an inch. For complete axle bearing instructions, see maintenance instruction booklet, MI 2001 traction motor maintenance. See the parts bulletin, DRP 1317 for undersized bearings. Alright, foundation brakes. The manual slack adjuster is initially set for the provided with a 3/8 of an inch shoe release. The new wheels of the brake shoe for then will allow approximately 3 of the piston travel brake application. The automatic slack adjuster will maintain uniform piston movement for its total take up of 6 inches. Replace the following brake parts with the specified maximum wear is obtained. Pins bushing wearing of the 3/4 64th of an inch radial clearance. The normal clearance. The new pins of the bushing 1/16 of an inch radial clearance. Hanger levers and equalizing when the thickness at the pins is worn at 1/8 of an inch. Hangers and friction arms are when thickness is pins are worn 1/16 of an inch. Alright, brake head, pull rod, slack adjusters when jaw member is worn at 1/16 of an inch. Hanger, equalizer, falcon brackets of the pin support worn at 1/16 of an inch thickness. Clevises of pinholes and interlocking surfaces worn at 1/8 of an inch. Brake heads of the face of the radius becomes worn to the extent of the new shoes. Keys will no longer hold shoe tightly. Brake shoes will be worn to the limit of the wear marked indicated with the same. On the same, wear plates on the hanger level, spring seats, and clearance between the two bearings become 3/16 of an inch. Wear plates on equalizer support when worn 1/8 of an inch thickness. Your slack adjuster lubrication. Lubricate regular intervals with the Olamite grease fitting provided. Reassembly of the truck. Make certain that the axles have been splined holes using drive axles mounted equipment such as the speed record, or the speedometer, transition generators, and our accession position in the same ways that they were when the truck was removed from the locomotive. When the traction motor nose supports lug facing inward, spacing the wheels, axles, and motors assemblies at 7 foot 9 inches centers from the center idling axle, releasing the motor nose slightly with a horizontal so that the truck frame will clear the load into the place block in the position. Reassemble the equalizer into the truck frame. Install the center pedestal, jaw filler box, and pedestal wear plates. With the brake hammers, beams, swing hangers, etc. in place for the truck frame, lower in the means of the crane and suitable sealing so that the pedestal jaw fits over the journal boxes. 5. The seat equalizer seats in the place for the journal boxes before lowering the frame. Apply equalizing spring seat, lower spring seat, or liners, coil spring, and upper liner with a complete lowering frame onto the coil springs. Carefully position the seating at equalizer ends. 7. Apply the pedestal tie bars, bottom pull rod, slack adjuster, hangers, cross tie bars. Apply the seats and liners and the swing hangers along with lower the spring plank and the position with the elliptical springs may not be positioned onto the plank to receive the bolster. Lower bolster on the elliptical springs. Apply the bolster safety straps. 10. Lower the traction motor nose so that the suspension spring may slide between the lugs of the motor frame. Push the vertical pins into the spring nest at the bottom of the ply with the pin keepers. If the truck is not assembled over the pit, they will be necessary to raise the truck in order to insert the suspension pins. Note the suspension spring seats in the position before further lowering the motor. Back off the seats of the new and spring holder bolts. Remove the split washer and the spring holders are fully expanded between the frame lugs and the back off of the nuts of 1/4 inch further than inserting the cotters. Lower the traction motor nose until they rest on the suspension. Reapply the motor air duct boots and reapply the loose horizontal liner swivel bowl. All right, reapplication of the trucks to the locomotive. Any of the previously mentioned method of the truck removal can be applied to reapply it. And if the following sequence or procedure, fill the swivel bowl with the oil approximately 1/2 inch over the horizontal liner. Position the trucks under the locomotive cab so that the swivel bowls line up with the cab outer plate and the axle-driven equipment such as the speed recorders, speedometer, and transition generators, etc. are correctly located. Lower the cab to the truck, raise the truck with the cab, taking the guide to the center of the center plate smoothly to the ends of the truck swivel bowl without jamming. Apply the center plate, dust seal, and check, and tighten it if it already is on the center plate. Apply the top brake of the pull rods, apply the air brake piping hose. Release the elliptical springs and previously restrained swing safety hooks into the position and insert the pins. Alright, 9, connect the handbrake chains, connect the traction motor leads, adjust the brakes, see the foundation brakes, connect any journal box attachments, check the lubrication in journal boxes, connect the sander hose adjustment sand pipe at the rail, remove all the tools, rags, blocking equipment that may be on the trucks on the chassis. Adjustment of the center plate height. The center plate may be raised a total of 1 inch to compensate for the wheel wear, or in addition with 1/2 inch thick liners and elliptical spring pockets in both top and bottom. All right, 1,600 horsepower road switcher, 1,600 horsepower freight passenger A and B 4-wheel unit 2 motor truck.